Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful souls. Well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and today we continue our journey through our series, The Act of Balance in Life. And I am so thrilled to introduce a very special guest, Meete Reebirk, who has been transforming lives with her innovative approaches as an author and executive coach. But before we talk to Meete, let's take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Exciting news, everyone! Nyomi Banks, your favorite transitional life and relationship coach and the inspiring host of the Season of Self-Love podcast, has just released another incredible resource for your personal growth journey, introducing her latest transformational ebook and workbook, Balance.Listeners, a guide to harmonizing your life. This 50-page guide is designed to help you navigate the complexities of life, bringing balance and harmony into your everyday experience. Perfectly paired with our amazing new series for this month, The Act of Balancing Life. This workbook is packed with practical exercises, insightful prompts, and valuable tools to empower you on your path to self-discovery and fulfillment. Don't miss out on this opportunity to invest in yourself and enhance your journey toward a balanced life. Balancing Act is available now. Grab your copy today and step into a world of harmony and self-love.
Are you ready to embark on a journey toward harmony and balance? Join us for our exciting new challenge, the 21 Days Living Balance Challenge on the Season of Self-Love podcast, as part of our monthly series, The Act of Balancing Life. This challenge will guide you through daily practices designed to help you harmonize your mind, body, and spirit. Whether you're juggling work, relationships, or self-care, we're here to support you every step of the way. Don't wait, sign up now to take part in this transformative experience starting October 1st. Together, we'll build a community of balance seekers ready to embrace joy and self-discovery. Visit our website or click the link in our bio to join the challenge today. Let's find our balance together.
What are some common barriers that prevent people from expressing? Hey, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here from the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Yeah, I would say remorse. So shame and guilt is a very dividing emotional.
And these are one of the many amazing conversations that we have every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast with myself, Nyomi Banks, as well as our resident therapist, Dr. Will Washington of Washington Wellness Institute. Come by.
The reality of our relationships with people.
Come by.
And a lot of times we're afraid of how people look at us. And so that compassion can't enter.
You can hit us on our
So that's
website,
really
the Season of Self-Love podcast.com. Let me ask you this, with the truth, is it... All right, well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and we will continue the conversation this month with our series, The Act of Balance in Life. And again, I am so happy to have a very special guest, Miss Meete Reebirk. Again, she's an author, executive coach who has been transforming lives with her innovative approaches. Meete, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I am truly excited about this interview is because I saw a lot of things that you talked about with anxiety. But before we get in deep into, your book, about your book, The Tipping Point, Life Force Comes from Our Questioning Your Thoughts. Yes. Let's take a quick break. Let's center ourselves with a nice guided meditation. So right now, if you will close your eyes into a comfortable position. I want you to inhale deeply through your nose, filling your lungs with air. want you to hold on for a brief moment. Now exhale slowly and completely, releasing any tension or stress. I want you to feel your body relaxing with each breath. Now, as you continue to breathe at your own pace, I want you to bring awareness to the present moment and feel the weight of your body grounding you to the earth. I want you to notice any sensation within your body without judgment, just simply observing. Take a deep breath in, drawing in peace and clarity. And I want you to exhale any distractions or worries that may be clouding your mind. With each breath, create space for insights and intuition to flow freely. Now envision a bright light at the center of your being, radiating warmth and wisdom. And with each inhale, allow this light to expand and illuminate your mind and spirit, and feel a sense of calm and serenity in you. Take one final deep breath in, embracing this moment of stillness and inner connection, and exhale slowly, carrying this sense of presence and openness with you as you move forward. So when you are ready, gently open your eyes and carry this feeling of mindfulness throughout your day. You are grounded, you are centered, and open to the insights that await. All right, thank you for joining me in this moment right now. If you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something that we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help center ourselves and prepare us for the topic at hand. And again, thank you, Meete. Thank you for being here. I am so excited. I'm excited for this. So let's talk about what inspired you. What inspired you to write The Tipping Point, and the key concept behind questioning our thoughts.
Yeah. For many years, I've been working with very successful people, and they have, done amazing things, built up huge companies, and apparently they ought to be very, very happy. But actually, they're not very happy. And I started to wonder, how come? And then I also started to wonder, what is it that in my life doesn't really work, even though that I have everything also? Mm-hmm. And then I started to become very curious about the way we think about reality, and what is a thought, and what is a feeling, an emotion, and what comes first.
Yeah.
And I spent the last 5-6 years trying to dig into that, looking into the brain, our ego. Everything is, we live our life in our heads. Yeah. And then 3-4 years ago, I was out on my bike. And I don't know if that is so. And I realized that when I believed my thoughts, I was not feeling good. But when I didn't them, I was okay.
Yeah.
And then I started to write a book, this book. And it's about thoughts and emotions. And every time we have, stressful feelings, heart beating, this little thing growing in our stomach, anxiety, fear, it's always created by a thought that we in a very tiny moment believe to be true, and believe define who we are. Mm-hmm. And the moment we try to see if that is really valid, what we are believing about reality, like, for instance, I was fired because I was not good enough. Can I be 100% sure that that is correct?
Right.
100%? Maybe not 100%. And in that moment, this feeling of, inferiority, not feeling, strong and good, starts to leave us. We have around 60,000 thoughts a day. And we cannot control our thoughts, but we can decide whether we want to believe them or not.
Yeah.
We are not our thoughts. We are not our emotions. We have thoughts and we have emotions. When you asked us to do this little meditation, I'm sure that some people, maybe when they closed their eyes, they had a little voice telling them, this is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another little voice telling them, oh, come on, be positive.
Mm-hmm.
But to become aware of that, there needs to be a third one, kind of observing those two having this going on. And that is the consciousness. And that means that actually we don't experience life as life is. We experience life through the story we tell ourselves about life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what my book is about. To become aware of that we don't need to believe everything we think. And in the moment we ask much kind. So this is the reason why I wrote my book. And by doing that, I my own life started to become much kinder in every aspect. There's actually nothing to be afraid of, because the only thing that we can is a story we tell ourselves.
Yeah. It's ironic you talk about the story, and I totally understand our thoughts. This is something myself that I've truly dealt with over the years. I used to have anxiety really bad, to where it was disabling to me. Like literally my whole body was shut down. And I will be laid out, my eyes will be closed, but I can hear everything around me like in real time, but I couldn't move my body at all. And it usually happened when something amazing is getting ready to change in my life. It's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But we are crazy.
Right. So when I think about that and I feel myself, that was me thinking that I was not worthy of the changes that was happening for me. And when you said about making those thoughts, we tell ourselves these certain things, like you said, when you get fired, your whole thought was, I wasn't good enough, or such and such and such. So you automatically went to the negative of who you are versus looking at it from another perspective. So when I go into, that's why when I saw your whole write-up, I said, oh my God, I would love to have her on this show, especially for the balancing act. I am a Libra. All my life I've been trying to balance things in life. And I'm not even talking about physical things, just even with emotional, spiritual, and mentally trying to balance it in life. But I also realized that I was unable to balance those things because I still was lacking in self-worth. I was still lacking with my self-love. So even with those thoughts that I have, still to this day, I struggle. I said, that's not you. That's not even your story. Are you believing that story that is being told to you? And then what confirmed me with it was a book that I love called The 4 Agreements. When I read that book, I understood more and more that a lot of times we tell ourselves, we create these stories of ourselves in their lives.
The whole time.
The whole time.
And actually also when we meet, like when I meet you, I don't really meet you. I meet you through my story about you. And that means that I meet myself.
Ooh.
And that means also that if you don't react the way I would suppose you to do, because, I meet myself.
Yeah.
I can tend to take it very personally, and I can maybe even consider you very rude. But it's because I'm not aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
So the moment I start to become aware of that you are you and I'm me, then I can become curious about you. And if you don't smile the whole time and forget to say hello to me, it's not really, has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And then I can, approach you and say, you look tired. Are there anything I can do for you? It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But if I don't know it, I will react, like on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then, mistakes and wars and, just look around the world. It's actually because we forget that we don't meet the other one where the other one is.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because you're calling us from Denmark, right? Denmark.
Yeah.
And I know in some ways we're culturally different from American and from Denmark. And I guess even with what you spoke about when you're meeting someone, you've already made a story up in your mind of who that person is based on just a visual act of where they come from. You understand what I'm saying? How can a person kind of come away from that or maneuver themselves away from that thought? I know a lot of times we when we look at people, it's more of a mirror image. For you, what will be your advice for us to stop looking for a mirror imaging of ourselves and just look at for that person for who they are? And I'm speaking from a culturally difference between you and I, between Americans and Denmark.
But it has actually nothing to do with culture as such, because it's we do it all the time. But a way to two things that one can do is, of course, becoming aware of what's going on. And the other thing is to become still up here, because we are judging all the time. And when we stop judging the other person, we actually can start to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem is that we are so busy creating a lot of noise about the other one.
Yeah.
That we actually very seldom bond really and get to know the other person.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do whether you are from US and me from small Denmark. It's a very, I think, common thing for humans. So we need actually to stop up and to become aware of what's going on in our mind. And when we see that we don't need to judge anyone to feel secure, then the world becomes not so frightening. And when the world is not so frightening, we become much more courageous and curious. Yeah, does it make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does.
So becoming aware of what's going on, try to silence a little the mind. And every time you start to judge, like for instance, when you are out doing walking around and you meet people, you see people, and you may not even be really aware of it, but oh, she really has a red dress on. Oh, maybe a little too red. So you have, all the time.
Right.
And why? What if you just, you have already noticed, okay, she's wearing a red dress. That's that. Huh?
Yeah.
You don't need to add anything on top of that, actually. But we do it all the time. It's a little like it makes, something a little abstract. Life is abstract, kind of. A little less abstract, maybe. But when we become aware of our judgmental mindset and that we don't need it, then everything turns out a little lighter than before we became enlightened.
Yeah. Question. Sorry. How do listeners, how do you start questioning your thoughts without feeling overwhelmed?
First of all, when you're feeling good, happy, a lot of energy, you don't need to question your thoughts, because then you are totally on the right track. But the moment you're not feeling well or stressful or not good, then the body is amazing, because it's the most amazing app ever invented, because it tells you about the quality of your thinking. The moment you have stressful feelings in your body, okay, now it's time to see what was it I was telling myself.
Yeah.
And then write it down.
Yeah.
My boss doesn't like me. Okay. And then you ask yourself, is that 100% true? Maybe not 100% true. Okay. Do I like my boss? So maybe it's not the boss not liking me, but me who do not like the boss. So again, we meet the other person through the story we have about the other story. So we meet ourselves.
Yeah.
And it can be that the boss is actually okay, but there's a trigger. And he's there actually to teach us something about ourselves. What is it that he can teach me that I have not really been aware of? And then suddenly, our relationship changes. To change the world needs one thought.
Yeah.
And only one thought.
Yeah.
So you can feel it when you do not feeling well. It's time to question what you are believing to be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but it's also rather amazing, because it's actually very easy to believe what we believe to be true, because we can feel it. It turns to red, and then it must be true. So it's and then people tell me, okay, it cannot be so simple, but actually it is. And if it hadn't been so simple, I don't think I would have got it, because but actually it is so simple. You can feel there's something wrong. What did I believe?
Yeah.
And then it's also interesting, because we are very seldom really present. We are in the past, and that's overdone. It's history. And tomorrow doesn't exist. The only moment that exists, it's you and me.
Right
just
now,
here.
in this moment. Yes.
Right now. And the next moment is actually created by, this moment.
Yeah.
So if we are never really aware of the moment that will create the next moment, then suddenly we turn 80.
Yeah.
And we die, and then we go up to St. Peter, and he asks us, okay, how was it down there?
Yeah.
And suddenly we realize that I don't know, because I was not really present.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah. When you speak of moments, when you speak of being in this moment, when you just said that and spoken it now, my mom was just diagnosed with dementia. Just
My mom too.
yeah. And so we're very new. We're very new to this whole dynamic of what's going on with her. And so so what I have to do for the sanity of the both of us, but the both of us, is that I have to remember is to live in that moment right now with her, because that's the only moment that we have right here. Because whatever that she spoke and she said during this moment of time, a minute or 2 minutes later, she would not remember it at all. I remember last season, I actually came to that revelation because I was working so hard to try to prevent the inevitable, whatever that was. I didn't know what it was, but I was trying to figure that out. Like I had all the books and, changed our eating and like everything to try to control the whole thing. And I was like going faster than when it was happening. So I wasn't living in the moment and being right here with her, but I was there. I was already 3 or 4 years down the line and not here until one day we had an incident, what I call, she had an incident. And we had a back and forth moment. And I remember being silent in that moment and allowing her to have that time. And I remember going to my backyard and sitting. That's part of my solace. And I just sat there for about a good 5 or 10 minutes. And she comes out just happy and perky, like nothing never happened. Nothing did not happen. And I remember in that moment, I looked at her and I saw her face. And I said, I only could live moments with her. That's it. I cannot jump forward from a month from now. Like you said, the next moment could be the next second. I can't live that. I have to live right here in that moment. And just you saying that, it just, what it does for me is to just confirmed it even more. Does that make sense? It's confirmed it even more for me,
She is your teacher. She will teach you how to be present.
Yes.
And all those precious moments.
Yes.
And she's okay.
Yes.
Because it's right here.
Yes.
Just like a little kid.
Yes.
I have a grandchild, 2 years old. He is so much present. He's not 5 minutes back off in the future. He's just here. And when he's together with my mom, they had because they meet one another just where they are, both of them, right?
Yes. Yes.
And my mom, for instance, before she didn't, my dad couldn't get her to take a shower, and that they were it was not nice.
Oh yeah.
And then I took over, and then I found out, okay, she go with the flow, don't fight. But then I turned the bathing thing into a spa thing. With light and cream and a lot of wonderful things. So now, once a week, I go home and I make a perfect little time, her and me in the bathroom. And she tells me, I don't like that. And I just say, I can understand that.
Yeah.
And afterwards, she wants to pay me because, not all the time she knows that I'm her daughter, but it's okay too, because I know she's my mom. And I know that behind all the curtains, she knows deep in.
Yes.
There's something here.
Yes.
And then she tells me, this was wonderful. Huh? And then she I'm so happy that you are here. You are such a lovely lady. Yes. And you know why I have become such a lovely lady? It's because I have a very lovely mom. Huh? And so go with her. And then she will teach you. She will show you. don't fight. Now the reality is like reality is.
Reality. Yeah.
Yeah. And it can be that one moment she forgets who you are, but you are really a lovely lady. Huh?
Yeah.
And then the next moment, maybe she tells you, oh my God, I forgot who you were. I made you sad. And then you can tell her, no, because I know that you're my mom.
Yeah.
And you will always be my mom. And I will always be your daughter. So all that, we forget and move on. It's okay. It's okay. So go with her. Don't try to change her. Don't tell her that she cannot remember. When she tells funny stuff, you just go with it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. It's gotten better. It has it's gotten better. But those first few months,
Yeah.
she learned of this the day after Christmas last year.
How old is she?
She's 73.
Okay. My mom, she's 87. So
She's 73. My grandmother had it as well.
okay.
Yeah. And but this is the thing. My mom, she had wrote me a letter after my grandmother had passed away. She had wrote a letter to let me know that if she was to ever have Alzheimer's or dementia and forget who I am, that I to reintroduce myself to her. And I remember, I believe what happened is after COVID is when it probably came on set, because she did, had COVID. And then remember, we were all locked down.
Yeah. The whole world.
Yeah. So in that aspect, it kind of happened for her. But just thinking about that when you was talking about in that moment, and that's so important, even when we're talking about our thoughts, in that moment in my backyard, I knew like, okay, I knew this was a gift. I've always said it is not a curse, because she said, this is a curse. My mama gave me this curse. I said, no, this is a gift. And we have to look and see what this gift is and what are we supposed to learn from this gift that we've been given. And just as you said, she's teaching you patience. I didn't have patience at first. But not only that, but just to strengthen my perception of what another person is feeling and thinking at that time. You understand? So it's a gift.
Yes.
It is
Gift
a
in
gift.
the sky, and we just need to unveil it, unwrap it. And not just our moms and but all the people we meet, and especially maybe the people that we that we actually don't really like. There's something there. Be a little curious, not to change them, but to see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, and then also let go. It's
Yeah.
okay. We don't need to love the whole world.
Right.
It's totally okay.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you this.
But you are really a lovely daughter.
Thank you. I keep telling you that. No.
That's for sure.
Okay, a question that I have. What are some of the most common challenges or resistance that people face when they begin to question their ingrained beliefs? And how do you advise for them to navigate?
We are so used to blame others for us not feeling happy or for us not whatever. And with this insight, you realize that there's no one to blame except your own thinking about the other person. So the hard thing is a little to, you have to take on responsibility for your own happiness. So that can be a little difficult. And also to let go of, maybe you have felt a little like a victim. It was also my childhood and the abuse and the trauma and when you start to see that that stories that it maybe happened once many years ago, but you keep on repeating it, so it has kind of become part of who you believe you to be.
Yeah.
And when you are going to let go of that, even though that it do not really make you good or happy, it's still very you have become so used to it that it can be very fearful to let go of something, even though that it's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of you have to step up, and small step. Try it out. Don't believe what I say. Try it out, and see what works. And it takes a little time. It has taken maybe, I'm 60, so it takes a little time to understand, and some of this is, you can be very bright and PhD and everything, but this has nothing to do with that. To get this, to see this,
Yeah.
It needs a kind of an open window.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with intelligence or whatever. It's much deeper, and it's behind all that.
Yeah.
So a challenge can be that whenever you want to blame anyone, I have to turn it towards yourself.
No.
Okay, as a self-love, you talked about that. Really, to get to the point where you can love yourself.
Yeah.
It's the moment when you don't need to blame anyone.
Exactly. So my next question, and this is my last question that I asked, your book, The Tipping Point. For the book, where in the book can they find something to help them to balance their life of living, especially when it comes consciously? Where in your book can they find that at? Or is there another strategy that you have that can help them to balance their life with their thoughts?
Wait, when you say balance their life, what do you mean?
What I mean, balancing their life, because I had this conversation, and I had this conversation a few days ago with another guest. And I actually kind of like what he said. He said, because are we truly balanced? He said, because one moment we will be here and here will be okay for us to be here. This can be our balance, not always even. Does that make sense?
I actually believe that behind all the noise, we are always in balance.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, there's nothing to fix. And on every page in my book, you will, if you're open, if you're curious,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't, if you go a little with the flow, be curious about where does this lead me. You will see it. But actually, I lost my twin brother when we were 23 years old. I have had a lot of stuff in my life.
Yeah.
But I have always had this, that behind the grief, behind everything, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So this peace, this balance, this harmony is untouchable and doesn't need to be balanced. Mm-hmm. So it's all about me becoming aware of the noise myself creates. And when I become aware of that, I can play with it. I can look at it, and it takes time to become aware, and it takes time to stop up and question. But when you train something, you become good at it. Mm-hmm. So balance, it's already there. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense?
Yeah. The thing is, in follow me when I say this, I believe that we know just about everything. It's all about tapping back into it to remember or recognize what that is. I think we before
I do
when
agree.
we are, here in the belly and we've been birthed out. We've already know those things, but life and society kind of changes the way that we feel and we think, and so it's kind of like we put a big mask over everything. And now I guess I'm at the age, I'm be 52, and so now that I'm uncovering those different parts of me and my, like balance, as you said, and that's, my other guest said before, is that, is it really a such thing of us getting balance or remembering what's the actions that we need to do for our life, for what your life is to you? Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was some good stuff there.
Yeah. And actually, you can find my if that is interesting. I hope it is.
Okay, now say that one more time because we kind of broke up just a little bit. I want to make sure that I get that.
Okay. Oh, okay. My book is for sale on Amazon.
Beautiful. That was my next question to ask you.
Yeah.
My
And it's in English, so
it's in English.
not in Danish. Yeah.
Beautiful. If there's one thing that we can take away from this, what would you say? One good advice to give to my listeners right now.
Yeah. Don't believe everything you think is true.
Beautiful. 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 Well, thank you, me. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank
and yeah.
Thank
I
you.
wish you the very best.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, my listeners, I want to thank you all so much for just being here. For those interested, Meete's book is available on your website in all major bookstores, correct? As well as on Amazon. As well as on Amazon. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another episode of the Season of Self-Love, as we're talking about the series of the act of balance in life. So I want you to remember that you are so worthy of finding your balance in joy. Thanks again for listening, everyone. Share your thoughts on today's episode online, and let's keep spreading the love and self-love. So until next time, have a good one. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.